All right, well, let's go ahead and get started with the final session. I'd just like to introduce Thue and Lynne is at Yocom, who will be presenting to us this afternoon. Very excited to have them here. This session is going to go over the development of tech-ready roads with smart cars and the planning of the future of our connected communities. So with that, I'm going to turn the time over to them for the remainder of the time.
Thanks for having me today. It's so great to be at the Utah Broadband Summit. As some of you know, I used to run the broadband program, so it's very nostalgic being back here and seeing all the great work that Kelly and her team have done and all of the progress that they've made, and I'm like super proud of all of the work. So it's really great to be here and also great to be representing AT&T today. It's been interesting preparing for this presentation because I've got to learn a lot about a side of our business that I didn't know a lot about, to be honest. You know, we have this connected car business and it's kind of new and it's kind of, you know, seems so wonky and techy and it's been so interesting to learn about how real life it is and how much it impacts so many of our everyday lives now and it will in the future. And we probably haven't thought a lot about it, at least I hadn't. So, you know, really this presentation related to Broadband Summit and deploying broadband and increasing broadband access is so relevant because all of the work we're doing with connected cars and connected roads, and I'm sure what Lynne's going to talk about, it all is reliant on a very robust broadband infrastructure, and it's something that we're very lucky to have here in Utah and that we've planned for, you know, for a number of years, and a lot of other states don't have that level of planning and level of certainty from both the private and the public sectors that we enjoy here in Utah. So I think that looking at our future in terms of connected cars and connected roads is just so positive, and I think we'll really see ourselves as a leader moving forward in the future. So our connected car business is part of a larger business that deals with the Internet of Things. And what is the Internet of Things? The idea is basically that anything with an on and off switch can be connected to the Internet. So everything from, you know, your washer and dryer, your oven, your fridge, your car, of course, your TV, and a lot of these things that we're already seeing come to fruition today. A lot of you might have had some sort of home solution. At AT&T, we have AT&T Digital Life. That's a whole home automation project that's part of our Internet of Things department. It's really allowing the consumer to take more control over their daily lives and really not only automate functions to make their lives easier, but make things more affordable, less expensive, run more efficiently, and be safer. So it's a really cool concept, and it's really cool to see it all play out. I really loved the UPS presentation at lunch, and I don't know if you remember some of those stats, but I think he said, you know, 1 mile is worth $50 million to them. So all of the telematics data that a company like UPS creates and companies like AT&T and other broadband providers are really enabling really are money that is saved or put back into the U.S. economy. So when we're talking about connected cars at AT&T, we're sort of talking about a real specific thing. So we're talking about a connected car business that is connected to the consumer, connected to the dealer, basically a car that's connected to the internet for a number of functions through a cellular or mobile broadband connection. This is mostly provided by mobile commercialized services like services that AT&T provide. Whereas, you know, probably what Lynne's going to focus more on and so what we are planning for in the future with the public sector is more vehicle to vehicle and vehicle to infrastructure or vehicle to road communication. Okay, good, she's giving me the thumbs up. I guess I said that right. So this is something that is more a priority at the national level for the U.S. Department of Transportation and state departments of transportation, and really they're focusing more on enabling and planning for that sort of communication. And AT&T and other providers, of course, will be a part of that, but we're not necessarily enabling the communication per se. I see ourselves as part of that ecosystem, but we're not necessarily the ones who are, driving the standards. We're participating in that effort. So I was really enlightened to sort of learn all the things that a connected car can do. I was fortunate enough to just buy a car that is a connected car. It connects to the internet, which I thought was so cool. It's a Wi-Fi hotspot, which I thought was so cool, although I still don't really use it a lot because I always have my nice LTE signal that's a little bit faster than that 3G signal that's in the car. But it can do more than just be, an entertainment hub. It can connect your car to the dealership. So when, you have an oil change that needs to be scheduled, your car can automatically bing the dealership and then let you know, hey, Tara, you're 200 miles away from an oil change. I see that Ken Garf has an opening on Tuesday at 10 a.m. Would you like to take it? Yes, I would. And, your appointment's set. How cool is that? But not only does it lead to more convenience for consumers, our AT&T connected car, it can be connected to your home automation system, your digital life. You can remotely start the car through your phone. You can request roadside assistance, navigation, all that basic stuff is included. But it's also about improving driver safety. We're trying to take the focus away from people having an extra device and looking at their phone and needing to feel like they're looking at the phone. We want that all to work seamlessly for our customers in their car in one place that's not taking their focus, away from what they're doing. So this is really interesting. We had a study that we did in partnership with Ericsson, and we just released it yesterday. And so as I was finalizing this presentation, I ran across it and thought, this is really cool to share, to sort of show the demand around what's happening with connected cars. So, consumer awareness of connected cars is out there. Everybody's heard of it. Most people know what it is. But what I was surprised to hear that, nearly 80% of car buyers would delay a new car purchase by 1 year to get connected features. And actually, I was one of those people. I delayed purchasing a new car till I was able to find one, that had what I wanted in terms of the wireless connectivity. Wi-Fi hotspots are the most sought after feature in a new car today. So this study was really groundbreaking, I think, and I think these trends will only continue into the future as we see more and more consumers not only be aware of what's out there, but also demand that in their own cars and for their own families. So the other side of the connected cars discussion is really the connected roads and how infrastructure is communicating with the cars and how vehicles are communicating with each other to improve, not only driver safety, because some of those automated features are already integrated into cars today, automatic braking, the side monitors that don't let you shift lanes if there's a car there, that kind of stuff is already here today. But we're talking about, planning for the future and helping to divert traffic and variable road signs and, adjusting speed limits according to weather conditions, and all of that stuff is here today, and it's stuff that we're also planning to integrate into vehicles in the future. So I'll let Lynne talk about a lot of that stuff, since I know UDOT has been super active and a national leader really in making standards and planning for that type of connectivity. Let's see, let's play this little video. So this is an excerpt from a video that we produced called Connected World. And the reason I want to share this excerpt with you is because it really focuses on how I think the connected car ecosystem really connects back to connected communities and is, really sort of looped into our whole, broadband scheme today. So.
Cars need to be smarter because the entire transportation industry is changing. People come through the Drive Studio, we want everybody to understand that AT&T is driving innovation. Your car will now be connected. It's simply another device that's connected to the whole infrastructure around you. Weather, navigation, traffic, being able to turn your lights on or turn your lights off, being able to open your garage when you're a block from your house automatically because it knows your location. Where the industry is really going is to where all of these cars are connected to one another. I can talk to that car up ahead of me. So it knows if a bunch of cars are hard braking because somebody stepped out in traffic, it would be able to sense the individuals that are walking on the sidewalk there. And your car will actually be able to slow itself down. This car becomes a piece of a network, an Internet of Things. The infrastructure will be able to know how many cars are coming down Peachtree Street going south at 8 o'clock in the morning. And it can now adjust the traffic lights and the traffic patterns to make them run more efficiently.
Internet of Things is interesting because what we're talking about is very low power, very cheap ways for all kinds of urban infrastructure to talk to each other.
We've had many ideas about improving how people move through cities, how flow functions. The entire 20th century, for instance, in the United States was affected by the automobile. Cities were designed around cars.
When these cities were created, people were not moving through cities in the same way that they are now. The patterns have completely changed.
So the next idea is to actually change the technology of how one moves, designed to fit cities, not cities designed around cars.
When you're stuck in traffic, that's a tremendous amount of CO2 being put into the environment. It's money that's being wasted. We're dealing with all the data collection happening from a mobile device. Anywhere someone is driving, we know the speed, and we'll actively try to route you around an accident, a hazard, a severe slowdown. It's very simple, right? We can actually reduce congestion. We can clear accidents faster. If you're saving time, it's more time you get to spend being productive or being with your family or having hobbies, and it's just time that's been kind of stolen from us now that we could get back.
Cities need to improve because they're just hard to deal with. It takes a lot of energy to, be part of this machine every day. There are going to be a lot of positive effects based on the ubiquity of networks, so we can make smarter choices about cities.
The smart city is one that cares about the environment and cares about technology. For instance, it would be great to know how much cloud cover is happening right now above my building.
Solar panels are on all the time, but they will be able to predict better how much power they will generate.
And if I had a zillion of these data points in a city, we'd be able to compute on the fly to really tune and optimize a renewable energy grid.
A smart city is a city that can take care of itself. We can get real-time data about food shortages, about flooding warnings. I think this data can be manifested within cities, and it can actually help us to make better choices.
By virtue of connecting the various devices, we enable them to work together, to be coordinated.
If you start to think about the projections of 50 billion connected devices by 2025 across the world and in smart cities, the amount of energy and money that's going to be saved is just astronomical.
So what really sticks out to me in that video is not only how, connected cars and some of our other, innovations in the Internet of Things business are really related to having, connected communities and smarter cities and better living, but it really brings at home what it's going to take from us and from other providers and, from the public sector and enabling all of it to really increase capacity in our networks and be ready for what's happening. In Utah alone, over the past 3 years, we've invested more than $220 million in upgrading and improving our wireline and wireless networks. And so as we see consumer demand continue to increase and adding more devices and users onto the network through the Internet of Things, I think you'll see that investment continue to grow and to expand. And the private sector really step up to the plate and deal with that demand. But it's not going to be without coordination from the public sector and from local governments in enabling all of that. So I wanted to end today with a message from our It Can Wait campaign. Our It Can Wait campaign was started just about 5 years ago, and we've had tremendous response to this. It started as an anti-texting campaign. So, you know, we want drivers to keep their eyes on the road, not on the phone. And so, you know, we've ran a lot of public service announcements. I don't know if you have ever watched any of them, but if you're ready for a little tearjerker, you know, this Friday night, go ahead and go to It Can Wait and watch some of the really, really moving stories. I mean, we feature one from you know, a student at Utah State University who happened to be texting while driving one morning and killed 2 engineers on their way to work at Thykal. And it's just a very tragic story, but one that really hit home for me because I remember hearing about that in the news growing up, and it was so devastating. And now really being on this side of it and trying to remind people about the dangers of texting while driving has been really impactful. So if you haven't had a chance, we have the It Can Wait driving simulator at the booth. We usually take that around with us different places, so if you don't get to try it today, you can try it some other time. And if you want to, you can download the Drive Mode app from AT&T. It's in the App Store and all types of devices, and it's actually, it's a pretty cool app. I use it a lot. It will automatically put your phone into drive mode when it's moving a certain speed, and so it won't. You can not allow text to come through. Sometimes I think you can allow phone calls or not, but it kind of forces you to not look at your phone and not hear your phone beep or buzz or anything while you're driving. So it's a pretty cool tool. So with that, I think I'll wrap up. Maybe we could take questions at the end. Okay. Thank you.
Don't know if I want to follow Tara. She's a gifted speaker, and she's been great to work with over the last few years. We've got, within the state of Utah, a transparency policy. Utah likes to be transparent, and with the smart roads, we've tried to put everything in and pull this data because we can only make the roads so big. Have you noticed the size of I-15 lately? We're on the last push. This is about as big as I-15 is going to get through Utah County and Salt Lake, but our growth is going to continue. So instead of making the roads bigger, we've got to make the roads smarter. So making smarter roads is better for the community because we're going to be reducing pollution. If you could see how much pollution is reduced by not getting congestion, it's actually amazing. How many know that our air is cleaner today than it was back in the 80s? Right. And we've done that through cars getting cleaner, getting better at our traffic signals and everything that we're doing. So we started putting technology into the roads. When you drive down a road, you may not be aware of all the technology that you're passing. Your traffic lights. We have connected over 85% of all the traffic signals within the state of Utah. And I'm going to show you a map here and where you're going to get to play with this data. It's a lot of fun data that you're going to get to play with. Tara talked about the future. I'm going to show you what our connected roads are giving you data-wise today. What are our connected roads doing for life within Utah at this very moment? So we've got fiber optics that we've put into the roads, and we work with our telecom carriers to help promote and get better broadband coverage, and by trading with them to expand through the state. I connect to traffic signals in Kanab just like they were sitting in Salt Lake City on a private network, not one that goes across the internet anywhere. Okay, helps keep the security tight, helps keep it point to point. I don't need internet on a Kanab signal, but I need that data from that Kanab signal, and I need it to be able to come back so that we can do that. Right here under the UDOT data portal, if you'll see right here, if you put into your computer and you Google and you say UDOT U-Plan, you'll come up with the first hit, and it will be called the Utah data portal. Within this Utah data portal, it has a lot of amazing data that is free to anybody that wants to be able to get it. So the data portal has maps. It has this nice little traffic section one right here that we're going to use and click on. And you can get so much information. This is our big commuter link website, which, well, we've rebranded, sorry. UDOT traffic website. It was one way for another for a long time, and now it's switched to another, and I have to remember from my PI office that it's UDOT traffic website with it. Interesting fact, when we polled a whole bunch of people and asked them if they knew what commuter link meant, this is the why we rebranded, they thought it was owned by KSL. So we've rebranded to UDOT traffic, not commuter link. So if you look here on this commuter link website, they haven't got their web stuff caught up yet, you can see all these cameras. And if I click right here on one of these cameras, this is a public network to any of our cameras throughout the state. And you will get a snapshot of what's happening on that camera at any point in time that's there. You can kind of come down here and look at the timestamp that happens when we rotate through these cameras. It takes about 2 minutes to rotate the web page and get everything to update, so you're about 2 minutes behind. We're looking at the H.264 technology to look at how we can stream out to partners, where we can give them our full data stream and then do an H.264 encoder at these high definition traffic cameras by putting 2 encoders in there, one that goes back to my traffic operations center for high definition for everything that we do, and for our partners like KSL, KUTV, Fox, everybody that has a direct feed to those cameras, and to give you, to the public, a smaller compression that you could actually see the video camera in live feed. And so we're doing about 100 test cameras that are going to be coming up with that. But you can see any camera within the state off of this website and off of the Smart app. How many of you have the UDOT traffic app? I commute. I need that app, especially with the Point Project. I want to see how fast that traffic's going over it. So I can adjust my commute time to go at around 9:30, 10 o'clock is a good commute time for the Point, as long as there's not a wreck. And coming back home right around 7 o'clock, I've noticed that I can get through fairly decent, as long as there hasn't been a wreck. But I can look at it and see if I need to change route, see if I need to take Redwood over to 21 and then back up, if I need a different section. So the technology, the connected roads, right to the UDOT mobile app, which gives you pretty much what you're seeing right here. It will do the same thing. It'll show you construction sites. It'll show you the cameras. You can see any signs that are out there. You can turn on and off what it is that you're seeing, so that you can look at what's posted on any of the signs. So if we click one right here, we should be able to see the sign message. Watch, it's not going to let me, come on. Speed enforcement increased. You've seen that today. I got a lot of comments from the one Monday on the traffic signal one. How many saw the traffic signal? They're getting cute and clever because they want you to read the signs. And it's working. Bravo to our PI department, You've got a traffic signal, you know how to use it. So they've got these nice fun signs and everything that are out there. These are all connected back by fiber optics within a section, within a private network that you can, that we manage. Here we can click for incidents. Oh my gosh, we've got a wreck right here. We've got a foothill in Wakara Way. And let's see, we've got one lane impacted. It's low, probably off to the side now, less than 5 minutes. If I was driving to that area, I wouldn't worry about that too much. If I could avoid it, with an easy separate route by going maybe not 215, maybe going up just 21 or something like that. Maybe that's a choice that I would make. But we give you the empowerment to try to make those choices with the network. Has a lot of fun items on it. Construction, we put orange barrels so that you could see the orange barrels and everything that's moving. And right now, look at I-15. I know, it's starting to get to that rush hour section, and it starts to hit right about 4 o'clock. We've now started to post times to say, if you drove this at like 3:30 or 4 o'clock, this was going to be your delay. You're driving it now, this is your delay. We're trying to change your driving habits by showing you from the road sensors what's happening along that way. Oh my, somebody's wrecked on the Point. We got a high impact level right here. It's more than 15 minutes delay. And look at what's happening for you guys all going northbound. So they're rubbernecking for what's happening. You can see that. That's the perfect, you can see people are looking at the wreck. And it starts the slowdown right at the wreck site. And it's telegraphing back down to about right down that point project. And you can see this. This is real-time data. We have monitors that sit on the freeway system. That you've seen those squares as you drive past that are on the poles. Those are the microwave that goes down and tells us the cars and the speed and everything that's happening that comes back through our system and puts it out in real time. And we push this data for free. This data UDOT does not charge. We push this out to any provider that wants it. Garmin, TomTom, we call it PEMS. Several universities pick up this data to do traffic studies with. And the data is free. If you come back here onto our data portal right here, you have one called UPlan. If we click into the UPlan section, it has a whole bunch of mapping and other data that's available for anybody that wants out there on anything with UDOT. We have a section right up here at the top that's called Gallery. If I click on the Gallery section, come on. Broadband conference, let's move. Let's get our speed. Here we go. Here within the UPlan, we've got a lot of galleries. I have my own spot on the gallery on page. Oh, they bumped me to page 2. I used to be on page 1. We have a UDOT fiber optics gallery. Now from this site, you can click on here with the fiber maps. You can see what the top priorities are for us. We use this to partner with our telecommunication agencies. I put down what my top 10 priorities are within each region of the state that UDOT is looking to either build or we're looking to partner with somebody to put those items out. If I click on it and go into the priorities, I can click by region and anything else that's coming up on it. And you can see, like right here through Region 4, anything on I-70. We've got kind of a big cosmic hole on I-70 if you've ever driven right outside of Salina going towards SR6 area. Signal's bad. There's like no signal. AT&T's put up a couple towers lately. Yes, but it's just, hey, we'll let you in our right away. So, yeah. Okay, so but they got to have hills, and we're sometimes kind of down, so they need a little bit more line of sight. Check out our sheds. Sheds sometimes have the hills that you're looking for, and we have property there. So you can click here, and you can take a look at any project that we're looking at, that we're trying to do. This one is like on I-15. It's Cedar City to Beaver. We're looking for 42 miles there that we need to fill the gap. We're trying to get everything that's I-15 to be able to bring the connected roads. Tara was talking about the future of vehicle to infrastructure. That's what we're really interested in. Vehicle to vehicle is going to be done by the car manufacturers. Vehicle to infrastructure is going to be vehicle to your cell phone, vehicle to monitoring equipment like we're putting on the sides of the roads right now that your car is going to talk to. We're going to be able to see how fast and whatnot that's happening that's going on with it. So some really interesting items. If you click on this one, you get actually a fiber map of everywhere that UDOT has partnered or has fiber optics within the state. It takes just a little second for it to populate. And this has a little legend for it, and it will tell you what we've got there. And somebody goes, why would you give out that information? Terrorists and all that kind of stuff. And I said, well, we're a transparent state. We believe in showing what we've got to be able to work, and I'm more scared of backhoes by far than any terrorist out there I have ever seen. Backhoes will take out more fiber than any terrorist will. So by providing information to say, this is where we're at, this is what you need to be aware of. And it wasn't so much the towns and cities that were digging it up, but it was our own UDOT projects. Our own projects on our roads, we're digging up our own infrastructure. because they just didn't know we were there because there wasn't a way to easily share the information. We now easily share that information out, and any of our engineers or anybody can pull this information up and be able to see, okay, we've been tasked with a piece of State Street from here to here to do a full rehab on it. What am I dealing with? I want my information there, and I want any partner that's with me, I want them to know about it so that they don't dig them as well, so that it's easily available for them. Now here within our data, our gallery portal that we've got here, we've also got one that deals with, we have traffic, which we went into, but there's I wanted it to come back. There's one that I was going to show you on traffic signals that you're going to love. We've got every single of those traffic signals that we're talking about being connected, and no, that wasn't. This is our UDOT safety and crash analysis. It wasn't the link I was looking for, but it was another link I wanted to talk about. You can click on any one of these roads that are available right here, and you can tell what the crash analysis is. And it shows a safety index that you've got right over here to the section. And you can click on it, and it will bring up a route. This is I-80. It actually has 2 pages with it. And it has... It's classified as rural interstate, and you can scroll right here through the side, and you can see all the information that we have gathered on this road and the crash data if you're trying to look at it. Just to make it as transparent as we possibly can, you can see that it is a road that is red. That's one of the more severe roads. That means we have 6.1 to 7 crashes in that area on the annual basis. And that's actually quite a bit. They talk about fatalities that are happening within that area as well. So this is a pretty little dangerous piece of road through there. Not as bad as this one. Right through there, that piece of black section. And that road now has been redesigned to try to help improve the safety. So we will take a look at where we see the black areas, and that's going to help us designate where dollars go to try to help produce safety depending upon what the road needs and what's happening on the crash data that we pick up. And we make this all available to anybody that's within public. Yes?
Can you adjust those by miles traveled or miles traveled so that you see more fatalities or incidents by mileage as opposed to just raw?
This is what they've got now. You could download the raw data to it and do some more searches if you're really techie savvy on it. And so what's going to happen is they're going to say from this segment to here, this has been our crash data. Yes, Bert?
Click on one of the segments. I think it actually scores it using different ways. If you scroll down. So there's some that factor in mileage, the total mileage of the segment, and there are like 4 factors. You can look at them independently, or they get rolled into this composite safety index. So that did that per mile there.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much. Didn't you do? Oh. So they have a. I normally don't show this piece because I don't do the safety section on it, but it clicked on it, and my map was here right when I was doing my links and for the traffic signals. So I was going to look for it. So now that's thrown me off. The other one that is really awesome that we work with our partners on is our projects map. You can look at any projects that are out there, and they can decide if they're wanting to partner with us on this projects map, and you can zoom in on it. So they're like going, okay, 70 looks like there's a lot of projects, but a lot of times it's just a surface rehab. And if we click on the line and it brings up the project, it'll tell you milepost to milepost what they're doing and the dollars that we're spending on that project. So everything is about as transparent as we can try to make it as it searches for my I-70 query. tell it to come on, but it tells you everything. So our telecom partners can look and say, what is UDOT doing within this area? It'll tell you if we're close to being completed. This one is in scoping status that you can see right there. And you can see who the project manager is. It has a PIN number that goes with it, and that's for anybody that's doing bids or anything on projects. Are you wondering if any of our projects are going to affect any of your infrastructure that's out there or anything that you're doing? This was federal dollars. It's about $2 million. It's a safety improvement project, and I'm looking down through it, and it's barrier. We're going to be putting up barrier, so you can see if that's doing anything that's affecting you. I know that they're correcting a lot of barriers down within our rural areas to change the ends with them, and to make them safer from what we've studied. But any project that comes up like that, you can click on them. And over here they've got the legend. So here's a concept. Here's a preservation roadway. One of my telecoms could say, hey, you're going to have traffic control out there from milepost 189 to 193. We would like to maybe have conduit in there at the same time while you're doing traffic control. That can save one of my partners almost $100,000 off their project if we're already doing the traffic control out there and they're coming in and we're coordinating them with our projects. So providing data and having it out there is extremely important. Here it is, signal performance metrics. I clicked on the. This is the last thing I'm going to show you, then we'll go to questions. This UDOT traffic performance metrics all comes off our communication systems from broadband. You can see right now we've got 1,542 measured traffic signals off of this section. And I can click on it, and it's going to bring up, you can drill down to every single traffic signal. Okay, you can tell the performance metric of every single one. We have somebody that sits at our traffic operations center that can see this data start to happen in real time and find out there's a problem before you as the public is calling us on this data. And it really, really helps. We partnered with, I believe it was Penn State University with this, and they did the software, but they didn't have the network for the connectivity. So they gave us the software, and we applied it to our network, which they come out and their mouths just opened and said, this is what we always envisioned the software could do, but we didn't know it could really do it. And so it was great. So you can zoom in on any of these signal sections, and we can pull it out, and so we can click a signal, and this is at 200 East in Logan, and it was Purdue, sorry, not Penn State. I got the university wrong. It was Purdue University. And it's like, okay, this is your look, this is where you're at. What is it that you want to see? Let's see what the split monitor is on this signal section. And you can click it up, and it's going to give you all sorts of the data. It's lagging with our internet connection here. At my office, it's really quick. Maybe at your home one, it might be quicker. But you can get it to load up with that section. You can also pick by region here of anything that you want to see. So you have a metric type, and you can say what's approach delay, what's the arrivals on red that I'm looking at in region 1. And let's pick out that signal ID that was right there. And let's go arrival on red. And then we create our metrics. And we scroll down, and it tells you exactly what that traffic signal's doing and how well we're managing it to see if there's a problem. The bigger that you can get your total arrivals on red, your total vehicles, and your percent arrivals on red, you want big gaps between theirs. And when we have smaller gaps, we go, we've got an issue with this, and we need to see what we can do within our power to fix it. So all of this is available to you off of our U plan. All of this data information, and I've only scratched the very beginning of the surface of what you're able to pull out of our traffic system today. You can see all of this data, user-end friendly with our app. You can see it off the UDOT traffic site that we're working with. You can see variable message, construction, anything. And anybody that's a real big data geek, drill down within this data portal. You can pull out a whole bunch of other information that's really fascinating. when the attorneys call us and they want to know when the signal was at what time of day per such and such, we just send them to the website now. Saves us a lot of grandma requests. It's open. I don't care if you know what the signal was at that time of day. Go for it if you want to know. But it's really saved us a lot of manpower times. Transparency within the state of Utah is good. And I loved the UPS guys' seatbelt percentage. That was fantastic. We're all about zero fatalities. Thank you for the no texting shout out right there. That's really big. Buckle up. It's something that we really need to do. So now, Terry, you want to come up and if anybody have any questions? Oh, heck, let's get out of here early then, right?